Hello guys, good evening. Hope everyone is doing well. Training is coming along well, and hope everyone is also keeping yourself hydrated through your training and through the day, given the sweltering heat that we are going through. Yeah, we'll take our chat.
Hey,
Yeah, we have about 30 people. We can get started. Coach, out to you.
all right. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining our AMA session. We've been having a series of these, primarily trying to touch upon a few different topics, but primarily keeping focus on our Ironman 70.3 Goa. Closer to the race, we'll be talking a lot more, finer details of anything around the race and course and other details. But we've been touching upon all areas of sort of training, how many days are left, how the courses are with respect to our 70.3. And I think today's focus will be that, one, we're very happy to have obtained a significantly higher number of world championship slots, right? So I remember in 2019, I think when we did our first race, we sent a fair amount of people over. And I think because of COVID and things, I think some people couldn't maybe necessarily immediately follow that through with the race, and maybe some things are still lingering over. But otherwise, we've got 45 slots. If I'm not, I think
Yeah.
45 is what we are working, and which means they're up for grabs. And I would love to see a large contingent of people from India head over there. So we'll just talk about, one little bit about the course because we know where the 70.3 is going to happen. Neil will touch upon a few things. I'll talk about that also. And more importantly, just utilizing the next 5 months to prepare well, take advantage of this opportunity, and go after that goal. If that's already in your goal, yes. If it's not, well, maybe time to write that goal. That's pretty much what we would like to focus on today. But yeah, I'll pause to see if there are any particular questions, and I'll let Neil just help me structure this and moderate this.
No questions till now, obviously. Yeah, no questions. But coach, I mean, you having done three races yourself, three world championship races, which have been extremely difficult. What has your experience been? The feeling of qualifying, the feeling of getting to represent your country at the highest stage of this sport. Uh, Tell us something about your own experiences in those races.
Yeah, look, I think finishing an Ironman race is obviously a big goal, but eventually, sort of writing out those big goals for me was trying to get to Kona, and that happened in 2017. After which, then trying to get back to Kona was there, but they decided to move the Kona race to Nice, and in between Utah happened. A lot of things happened, but to primarily look at it, I think representing India at any part, right? I mean, you can't dream about too many other things like Olympics or other things. For us, whatever the next achievable thing for me at that point was, can I qualify for the Ironman World Champs? So for everyone out there who's looking to represent India in the 70.3, I think representing India in general in any event is definitely a matter of pride, and kudos to everybody who have done that. But specifically from an Ironman perspective and 70.3 representing in the World Champs, it's quite special. Even walking through that parade of nations and things which happen, and for you to be part of that, whatever it is, I think it was, whether it is 3 people or 30 people, that whole community which you there, along with everybody else, and people recognizing that part, that's very special. I think so. So for all of you who are looking to do that, and working towards it, I think you will cherish that for a long time, even more than maybe your normal other races, I would like to say. So that's something. And most of the times, those races, the World Championship races, are held in in countries and courses which do challenge you, right? So they also choose certain. I mean, the 70.31 actually is quite a um, circuit, right? They take through different regions and
Yeah.
countries, and I think, but at the same time, looking at you did the Chattanooga one, from what I remember, right?
Yes, yes. Chattanooga, Tennessee. That was back in 2017. Again, a very tough and challenging course. But I mean, nothing is difficult or impossible if you've trained for it enough. And given our own the Goa race is rolling, and it used to be hilly, but now it's rolling. Given it's a 2 lap course, I think anyone who aspires to qualify and do the world champs next year in Marbella, I think it's a good time to start looking at the larger picture rather than just Goa. Okay, and now the monsoon's kicking in. Get on your trainer, simulate those hills, build
True.
strength on the trainer with low cadence workouts, and I think I think you should be on your way.
No, true. And look, this is not just for the people who have signed up for the race, right? People who are looking to sign up, and if they felt they wanted to get to the World Champs, this is a good opportunity and coming through. And but yeah, people who you already know the conditions of Goa, even if you're not done the race before, or if you've done the race before, you would actually know the conditions of Goa. And I think taking advantage of that to come back and grab that spot, because you will have definitely a little more going for you, because you know the course, you know the weather. So I'd love to see that. Love to see a lot of Indians take over that 45 spots, as much as we'll have a lot of other countries also coming in to participate in Goa. But yeah, maybe we'll can take a few minutes to talk about the course itself.
Yeah.
Or before that, do you want me to touch anything else, Neil?
No, I think even though the course is obviously not announced officially for the World Champs, but there is an existing race in that region, and coach will touch upon how the course is, weather is, water, etc., etc.
Yeah. So most times the 70.3 race, which is a bit of a circuit which they take along, they choose a race or a region or a country where it's already hosted the race a few times, I would like to say. Right? Very unlikely it's not going to be a debut race doing it in that, because there's a lot happening there with respect to infrastructure, support system, and all that. But also some country, some region where they've had a good success of organizing races a few times. So in this case, there is an existing 70.3. Whether the course which currently hosts a normal 70.3 race, like what we host a 70.3 Goa, they've been hosting that race every year. Uh, course will in all probability remain the same. In case that changes, obviously they will obviously let us know. But going by track record, looking at previous races which have been converted into a 70.3 worlds for that instance, in all likelihood it's going to remain the same.
Yeah.
The normal race is in October, and I don't think it'll be too different. It could be either September, October, November. That's the time frame where
Okay.
they've been slotting.
No,
The
date
date's been announced.
November 7th and 8th, I think, as far as yeah.
Okay, perfect. Correct. So it'll also be very close to that part. And another thing which you would have also noticed is they choose races which are in that time frame. I mean, it's very hard to organize, make one of the 70.3s, which happens, let's say, in February or March, for that to become a world champs. Not that that race can't be moved to a different month, but there are reasons why that race happens to be in Feb or March. So without necessarily me getting fixated on that. This is a race which happens in October. I think the temperatures are going to be somewhere in the low 20s, I would say 2021s, with respect to the temperatures there. Not the water temperature, though. The water temperature, I believe, will be cold. So for all of us, yeah, about 16 or 17 degrees, like you
So
were telling me, Neil.
definitely a wetsuit swim. That's a
Definitely a
plus.
wet
Your
swim.
body
Yeah.
is as good as it gets in terms of pleasant weather to train in, not too cold, not too warm. The best weather, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Absolutely. So it's a wetsuit swim, which means, for all of us who are relatively, who find swimming to be slightly on that, obviously we get a good assistance and a good sort of, confidence and support with respect to wetsuit assisted swims. I can speak for myself. I mean, any race which has a wetsuit, I feel a lot more confident. Doesn't matter how long I've been doing races. My swimming, there is still a difference when I wear a wetsuit versus I don't wear a wetsuit. For everyone who's not been sort of learned swimming at a very young age, I think that difference will always exist. So that's a good one to take advantage of. It also gives a lot more people confidence about staying afloat in the water,
Yeah.
right? I mean, putting on a wetsuit is just not about the speed at which or your timings are going to be, faster than without a wetsuit. That is number one. But the second thing is just gives you a little more easy confidence to, just stay afloat in the water. I mean, I remember I couldn't tread water in my early races, and until someone had to tell me like wearing a wetsuit, you're in the open water, and if it's sea water, you hardly have to do anything, right? Until someone told me, and I sort of tried it, it never stuck with me, right? So I would say it gives a lot of confidence, and so definitely, whoever is heading out there or whoever is wanting to go there, it's a good one to take advantage of because not every 70.3 worlds may have a wetsuit swim, right? I remember going to Nice last year, and I think just on the day of the thing, it was zero point 0.2 degrees more or something, and they said no wetsuit, right? And I think when 70.3 Nice happened, I remember, I think the men or the women, one of them did with a wetsuit, one of them had to do without. That happened. It was that touch and go with respect to temperatures there. But coming on to Mabilla and course, the course looks good. It's a one lap swim course. But once again, take advantage of the opportunity to get there. Cycling course, from what we see, is a hilly course. It's about 1400 meters. 1400 meters. Have I got it right? Yeah, of the elevation. But at the same time, it's. I think the weather is going to be, a lot more pleasant compared to maybe a Goa or other Asian races with respect to that. But yes, that's something you will know about 10 months before or 12 months before. If you qualify in Goa, you will know it, 1 year before. If you happen to qualify in a different race, even though you'll be doing the race in Goa and things, I think you'll have enough time to train. And the Goa race, which is now more a rolling course, and people have done Goa before, I think, you would have trained appropriately for that. That's good. But one thing about hilly races, I think don't let that sort of, stop in the way of saying whether I should accept the World Championship slot or something, right? I think getting a World Championship slot is not easy. When you do get it, I think you need to go all out and, embrace that and train suitably, right? Kona was the course, right? When Kona was there, it had wind and things. People are not going to say, well, it's very windy, it's very hot, maybe, but you can't. That was the only place where World Championship was happening. But in case of 70.3, I know it happens around, but please don't wait for it to be. There will never be a easy course. There's nothing like an easy course, whether it's World Champs or anything else.
Yeah.
Having done Nice last year or even Utah before, both of those were world champs for me. It was all tough courses, but the fact that if it's a world champs, I think you have a little more effort you tend to put into training and things. So, and all said and done, it will make you a better cyclist. So I would say definitely go after that. The run is a 3 lap bike course. The cycling is a 1 lap course,
Yeah.
which means uh, yeah, which means every hill you do, it's the only time you'll do. Imagine trying to do the same hill 2 or 3 times. It's different. Every time it's different. Mentally, I think that also helps, right? Sometimes when you do a very hard hill and then for you to say, oh my God, I have to come back and do the same section, that can sometimes play your mind, which will not be the case here. You will encounter a few hills, but they'll be different,
Yeah.
right? The run is a flat course, 3 lapper, I would say. So, and look, it's a beautiful country. I'm sure you will not go there just for the race. That's always the case when we do sign up for races, especially when you travel long distances. So definitely a good place and a good time of the year in generally to see Europe and obviously that country on its own. But so yeah, look, just to wrap up, I think the swim course is a one lapper with a wetsuit, so it's a good one. Cycling course is definitely a one lapper again, but on the hillier side, but nothing which you can't train for. The run is flat, good weather conditions, so something for all of you to look forward and train. I'll just pause to see if there are any questions in general about our Goa race and anything related. I had a couple of other things which had reached out prior to this, but I'll come
No
back to
questions.
it. But
No questions.
so coming back onto our Goa race, I think the key thing here is we have about 5 months to go, a little more than 5 months, a few days. So hopefully all the trainings are going on well. Like Neil said, the monsoons are kicking in, which basically means some of those seas and conditions are going to be tricky. So just make sure that you take proper care if you're swimming with somebody. Obviously, and never swim alone in an open water scenario. Make sure there's safety around and take advantage of any swim camps, swimathons, and other things happening. I think we are also organizing one of them in Chennai, from what I know of. So if people want to get an experience of the open water, please have a look at our Yoska website. There are some camps and clinics happening. Take advantage of that in terms of your preparation. There's a question.
Yeah.
Can you be part?
Can you be a part of 18 to 24 category the year you are turning 24? So,
Yeah, the way the category happens, the age group happens is it's on the last day of the month, from what I know of. Well, last day of the year, I should say. So the age you will be on 31st December is taken as the age group you will fall under, right? And you might be qualifying in the 18 to 24, but you might be racing by the time the calendar year goes through. That can happen.
yeah.
So hopefully that answers your question. So you will always be in the age category in Goa based on the year. Like I said, if you're going to be turning 24 this year, you'll be in the 18 to 24. But if you're going to be turning 25, that's different, right? So that is the part. But you could be racing in the 25 to 29 because you will be racing the year the following year. So coming back, maybe questions on the bike course, like Neil mentioned in the Goa course. The course has changed. We've gone to a 2 lap course, which means the amount of climbing you're going to be doing is much lesser than people who did the race last year. I mean, 2019, 22, and 23, I think, has had slightly different bike courses, but predominantly the highway portions which we introduced in 2022 and then in 2023 and extended further now should give people a great opportunity to get some good sections, where they can cycle in those areas.
Yeah. Yeah. 3-lane national highway being shut for the race. Big thank you to the administration, both our current superintendents. Big shout out to both of them. Hopefully, both of them end up participating also. But we've been getting great support from the state. The entire administration has always extended all the help that we need to ensure safe roads and safe racing conditions are there on the race. Yeah, just
Yeah,
acknowledging that.
no, certainly. I think we owe them a lot of support, a lot of gratitude and thanks for extending that part, because the cycling is the area where as much as the running is 3.5 one way, 7 kilometers. Cycling is quite a long section. It touches upon so many other jurisdictions and things. So for us to get that has been great. Also, if there are any other general questions, whether it be training related or event related at this point from the people, as much as we're focusing on announcing the 45 slots which we have and also giving a sneak overview of how the World Championship course will be, and also to take advantage if there are any other general questions on training or other things, happy to take them now.
No. want to touch upon Badge of Honor initiative that we just
Yeah,
launched?
that's good. No, I think you would have got this from our maybe a newsletter in case you've been part of the community with respect to having done a past race, or also on our Instagram and other LinkedIn social handles. We have launched what is called as a badge of honor as a campaign. This is to recognize people who have done multiple Ironman Goa races, right? Primarily, people have done at least 3 races, right? So we are not only recognizing them by calling them out, but just giving them certain benefits and features with respect to the upcoming race, and a few things for them to to one, thank them for their loyalty and the support they've been extending year on year. And number two, we're also creating a pathway for people. If you've done 2 races, whichever 2 editions, and if you want to sign up for this to come under the zone bracket and also get the same benefits, and also join that join that key group of people, please do so. That's something we are doing, and we have about 28 people who have done all 3 races, which is great.
Yeah.
And some of them had already signed up, and some of them are now going to be signing up, and there's another 150 to there's quite a few other people who have done 2 races, and we expect them to equally take advantage and join this select group of people. So those things are on our socials. Please have a read, have a look, and if you know somebody there, do pass them on, tag them, and look forward to others taking advantage of that program.
Yeah. All right. Anything else that you want to touch upon before we sign off? Good.
No, I think just to wrap up, 5 months to go. I think all of you who have been training, keep that training going. Stay safe out there. On the open water side, please keep in mind the monsoons are kicking in, so some of those seas might not be safe very soon, if not already in that particular bracket. So make sure you're taking care of that. And whether it's monsoon or not, never swim alone. I keep repeating it. That's one thing. And take advantage of every day, train, and take care of, obviously, your, I think, Neil, you were touching upon, it's getting hot out there in a lot of places, so just make sure they stay hydrated through the day, not only during training. And no need to each time go and train in the hottest of conditions to simulate for race day. You don't need to do that in every session. Please don't. You don't even have to do it too often, right? I mean, doing occasionally a session or two just to test your nutrition strategy, or in general how you're feeling, is all you need to do. You will be running slower, you will be cycling slower come these weather conditions. So don't look at it as you're getting weaker or not getting stronger. So just moderate, manage the situations, and take advantage of every day you have between now and the next 5 months you have for the race. So yeah, I look forward to all of you at the start line and see you through the finish line.
We have
Um, and
in in the swim course, how far, any hydration or stop points? I mean,
on the
take that.
swimming course, since it's a one lapper, this is Yogesh, right? Yeah, Yogesh. Since this is a one lapper, other than the water around you, actually there are no other hydration points, unfortunately. So really speaking, most courses of the swim, there are no these things. So that's something. And most times you would not necessarily, given you're just starting, this is the first part of the triathlon, and if you have taken care of your hydration before and things, you'll be fine. But at any point you have a trouble, whether it's the swim related or anything else, obviously call out for help, put up your hand, and there are volunteers and things just to talk you through things, but there are no planned hydration points along the swim.
There's one more question that I've received on my WhatsApp right now. If you
Yeah, yeah.
lose your swim cap during the swim leg, is it okay to continue, or you'd have to fix it then continue?
No, I think please keep your safety in mind. I think the cap is there mostly for visibility and people, in addition to whatever people wear a swim cap for. So number one, don't 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 risk yourself trying to retrieve the cap if it's come off or whatever. I think it's more important for you to stay safe and swim. So it's not something which is which will be seen as something which will get you to either disqualify or anything. Absolutely no. But yeah, just focus on that. And a lot of people wear the swim cap and then the goggles. So sometimes the silicone and the swim cap coming off through contact, because it's held in a particular tight thing, right? So it's very easy for it to just come off, which also means sometimes your goggles might get dislodged and come off. So I always sort of wear my goggles and then my swim cap on top. That just helps. I've been doing something. Not lost a swim cap. Um, but in general, that's something. But don't worry in case your swim cap goes off. Just take care of your safety. That's more important.
One more question. Is a full length tri suit allowed on our course?
It's a full length. You're still talking.
Full length, full leg.
Uh, no, I think there is a restriction from a swim perspective, from what I know of. No, I think it needs to be half sleeved until the elbows. And that is the thing, because I clearly remember this being in the talking to the referees and other races. But yeah, they can definitely write to us to get a more clearer steps or anything. But from what I'm aware of, the full length sleeve for the swimming is not allowed. I think afterwards wearing arm warmers or other things with respect to it for your bike and run is completely up to people. The tattoo, in case you cannot put it on that, and making sure people put it actually on the forearm, right? So that's also the case. But full sleeved ones all the way until the wrist in the swimming is not allowed.
Got it. Okay. Okay. No more questions on the chat also.
Okay. All right. That was a good. I think we kept to our time. Thanks everyone. I think also write to us if you think there is any other topics, not just a question, any other topic which needs more attention as a dedicated session. We're going to be doing this every fortnight, if not more frequently, as the race progresses or comes closer. So thanks once again. Have a good weekend and safe training for all of you who are training for the race. For people who have not yet, the race is still open. Registrations are still open. Have a look and write down your goals. And if World Championship is one of them, which was always been on your goals, yep, there are 45 slots, which means there will be more slots in every age group, right? So it's no longer just one in every age group or otherwise, right? So that's an important thing. Especially in age groups which are more packed, there might be 3, 4, 5. So it's not equally distributed. I just see a question coming up. It's purely based on every age group will at least have one, but based on the ratios, if 35 to 40 age group has the most number of people, they might get 3 or 4. So it's based on ratios and number of people in each of the age groups.
Yeah. Anand also represents our sponsor delivery, and he races through their team.
Anand Biswas?
Yes.
Hi Anand.
So yeah.
Good.
Right.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Have a good evening and safe training. Thank you, Neil. Thanks, everyone.
Bye. Good night.